We have a few questions in here, which I'll divert to either maybe Mike or Craig here. One right away, maybe Mike. Do you do accelerated life testing to predict battery life?
Yeah, and even sometimes not just accelerated life testing, but regular old cycling. A big part of qualifying the cell up front is testing it to the point where it's no longer useful. It doesn't have a huge impact on hazardous location stuff, but absolutely needs to be done.
Perfect. Another one here is, Mike, you might be able to just chime in again. Have we made a MWD battery 175C?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We can do up to 200.
Perfect. Julie, if you want to direct that question following this slide, Craig and I will have our emails there. So feel free to reach out to him or myself.
I should note there, the 175 is not a common spec. It's more likely the 180 you're kind of looking at.
A few questions here coming in at the end. What cell manufacturers does Excell work with for preparing and testing cells? Mike, do you want to just briefly answer that one?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we work with really all of the tier ones, Panasonic, Samsung, anyone you'd expect there, and a couple of the kind of up and coming tier twos as well, both of which have some pretty excellent cells for HAZLOC stuff.
So that answers that. There was another question that said, what are some good examples of cell manufacturers for ATEX? A couple more here. What would be the cause, or what would the cause be to, or for the pressure to increase in a cell? Mike?
Yeah, so that will be either over discharge, high temperatures, or some sort of internal failure. And again, that's what the CID mechanism is intended to prevent.
Another one here. Is there a way around the requirement to have the cells produced without PTCs?
Kind of. You can just use a cell that doesn't have a PTC in the first place. There are quite a few, and some of them are kind of in the approximate capacity range that we would like. Panasonic have one, as do several of the tier twos.
Would there be similar restrictions if the battery pack is enclosed in an EX certified cabinet?
Depends on where the barrier is. So it's possible to protect, the inputs and outputs such that the battery itself does not need to be certified, but the whole assembly still does.
Okay, lots of questions here, so that's good. Here, Craig, I think I might have one for you here. How do the NFPA/NEC or class zone system requirements fit in here?
Right. It's the regulations. It's a pretty vast space with lots of different standards that are happening. So NFPA, the National Fire Protection Agency, with the National Electric Code, is really USA specific, right? So the states long ago came up with these regulations in order to ensure that things are kept safe. They have the IEC add-on in there. So the reality is that they are really very similar, and there's a lot of overlap there. Just to kind of fill out the space, there's the ATEX, which is Atmospheres Explosible, which is the European Union area. And so you kind of had that emerging where you had USA, European Union. It was getting very, very difficult for the world to try to play in all these different areas. So IECEX has come up, which is really starting to come on strong. And it was designed to eliminate a lot of that confusion between those two main existing explosion rating systems. And foster international trade, right? As the world has only gotten smaller, our need to design a piece of equipment here in North America and use it in Europe, or vice versa, or over in the Middle East, or what have you, has become really important. And having all these different standards it gets a little tricky. So IECX is really sort of pushing up to the forefront to try to harmonize a lot of that and move it together. The good news for, say, a USA manufacturer is that in the States, they are actually a participating country in IECEX. And so via the ANSI standard. So, in a lot of cases, when we look at these applications, it's generally the IECEX with the ATEX that's probably our best angle to look towards, because the NFPA and C stuff will fit inside of that IECEX and allow these things to be cross-country compatible.
Perfect. And I think we'll finish with one more here. Mike, can certification for existing battery packs be leveraged for new certification projects for host products?
Yes, with big giant asterisk. If the battery is certified at the component level, you can leverage that a bit to get through certification this year, as long as it's certified above or at the temperature range level protection that you're going for.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike. So I think if we can just move to the next slide here. If we didn't get to some of the questions, or if you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Craig below. Those are direct emails there. And additionally, we ask, if you want, please visit our resource section of our website at www.excellbattery.com, and as well give us a follow on Twitter, LinkedIn as well at Excell Battery. And with that being said, we thank you for all your time today and joining us for another webinar, and we'll hope to see you soon. Thank you again.